Hi, it's John from North Star Nursery, Garden and Home, your coastal gardener. So every year we kind of go through this, and so it's just kind of a refresher course. So I'm not going to go into the whole planting of the baskets, but what I wanted to talk to you about is the fact that you can have baskets that look really gorgeous. It's just there's a really simple recipe. And I don't know who taught this to me, but it basically is a thriller, a filler, and a spiller. So it doesn't mean that it's just three plants. It just means that's what you're kind of going for. So if you have a really big pot or a really big basket, you can have many thrillers, many spillers, many fillers. And what we try to do here, and by the way, I just want you to know that all of these baskets were created by our employee Jennifer. She has been rocking it. So all of these ones in the moss baskets are all hers. So she's getting some really great combinations and really exciting mix. So in the next week or so, or 2 weeks for Mother's Day, these will definitely be gorgeous. If they're not gone by then, we will repeat the process. So with the idea of a thriller, spiller, filler, what I grabbed was this dahlia. Now this dahlia is going to get about 18 inches tall. What I then grabbed for my filler was this little Bidens. The Bidens this year are so cool. This one is a dark orange that actually fades to that lighter yellow as it ages. Really, really pretty. Now, I've had about a 50-50 success rate with some of these wintering over here on the coast. But honestly, for what they do from spring all the way through until the first frost is well worth it. So this is Biden's Bonfire. I didn't really tell you which dahlia this is, and I probably should because you probably want to know. This is called Mystic Fantasy. Look at that bicolor. It's gorgeous. So there are a lot of dahlias in the Mystic series. They all have that bronzy foliage, which I just adore. So, thriller, filler. This is our spiller. This is a great little, Calibrachoa called Neo Orange and Red Eye. I just thought the color combination of this with that would just be stunning. Now we're going to throw a little bit more spiller into it, and we're going to throw a little curveball on the color setup. We're going to actually introduce purple. So what I do is I place all of my larger plant material first. Sorry, David. And then what I do is all of those little pockets, I pop in my other spiller. Now, it could be lobelia. It could be sweet alyssum. You could do the dwarf flowering sweet peas and have them spill out the side. It's really up to you. But the fun thing is playing with the color. Purple and oranges really, really pop well together. And so that is that. Now, what I also wanted to mention were some tricks. Okay. So when you think of hanging baskets, you want to consider the fact that they're completely exposed to the elements. Wind, rain, a lot of sun, and they can dry out very quickly. And so if you are planting your own basket, my suggestion is to either take a plastic bag like from the grocery store and just cut a piece that goes up about 2 or 3 inches of the height of the basket. I also have tried using these. This is a plastic saucer, and you just go ahead and put the soil right in it. All you're doing is creating a reservoir for water. That's all you're trying to do. And usually it's very beneficial at the end of the season as we're starting to get warmer and warmer and those winds come in. You probably want to consider at least watering your hanging baskets 3 times a week. If they're in blazing full sun, you probably want to look at bumping it up. Now, initially, when you plant it, you don't have to do, every day or anything crazy. You can go ahead and do 3 times a week and then add accordingly as you see things, kind of going south, like they're wilting or whatever. So lining the bottom, a decent potting soil, and then if you don't like the saucer plastic option, there is a product called Soil Moist, and it comes in a granular form, and it also comes in these little crystalline forms. And what you do with these guys is you just jam them down along the side of the plants, and they expand and they hold the moisture so it's more readily available to the root system. And the roots will actually connect with that polymer so that they have that moisture available to themselves. The other thing I want to tell you on this, be very careful. Make sure you actually read the directions, because it's shocking how much you would use. I had a woman once use an entire bag on a fuchsia at home. She called me the next day, and there was stuff oozing out of her pot, and she didn't know what I sold her. And so you only need, this is like a 10-inch, 1.5 teaspoons. Very, very minimal amount because it expands significantly. Now, when it comes to planting, of course, when we're planting anything, moss baskets, whatever, anything, we always use Sure Start. And then, depending on how you want to handle it, if you want to go the lazy gardener route, which is perfectly acceptable, you can do Osmocote mixed in. I would also do this on top of using Sure Start. And that is a slow release that lasts 6 months. Then, if you want to be really hands-on and you love watering, this is Maxi Bloom. This is the one that I would use if you're doing hanging baskets with flowers, just because it's going to push the bloom production. If you only have Maxi, the balance formula, you could certainly use this. This is one of my pantry basics. This is one of the things that I say you really should keep in your shed, garage, whatever, so that you're ready whenever things happen. Also, traditionally, we don't have too much of a problem with bugs on hanging baskets. Sometimes if they're not watered enough, they'll get stressed, and then that's a signal to a lot of insects to come in. This is neem oil. You would spray once a week for 3 weeks if you see something like aphids, or once in a while people will get whitefly because it's kind of a compact area that's pretty dense and a nice little housing development. So again, spray once a week for 3 weeks. Make sure you water 24 hours beforehand. So I think that's kind of it on hanging baskets. Oh, I sounded like I was from Minnesota. So if you have questions on hanging baskets, certainly come in and talk to me, or certainly talk to Jen. She's the one who's created these things, and they're just gorgeous. I hope you're having a great day, and we look forward to seeing you at the nursery.